Hello everyone, this is the part 3 that we are going to discuss about AC circuits. This is Alfia Tansal, lecturer in physics, faculty of Arihant College of Arts, Commerce and Science. Today we are going to talk about LC oscillations. When a capacitor is supplied with an AC circuit, it gets charged. But when a fully charged capacitor is connected to an inductor, the charge is transferred to the inductor and the current starts flowing through the inductor. Because of the increasing current, there will be a change in the magnetic flux of the inductor in the circuit. Hence, induced EMF is produced in the circuit. This self-induced EMF tries to oppose the growth of the current. Due to this, the charge of the capacitor or the energy stored in the capacitor decreases, and an equivalent amount of energy is stored in the inductor in the form of magnetic field. When the discharging of the capacitor completes, all the energy stored in the capacitor will be stored in the inductor. The capacitor will be fully discharged, whereas inductor will be storing all the energy. As a result, now the inductor will start charging the capacitor. The current and the magnetic flux link with the inductor starts decreasing. Therefore, an induced EMF is produced, which recharges the capacitor in the opposite direction. This process of charging and discharging of the capacitor is repeated, and the energy taken from the source keeps on oscillating between the capacitor and inductor. These oscillations are called as your LC oscillations. As far as the diagram is considered for the LC oscillations, the parallel combination of an inductor of self-inductance L and capacitor of capacitance C produces electrical oscillations of desired frequency. Now, if we say let a capacitor with initial charge Q0 at t equals to 0 be connected to an ideal inductor, the electrical energy that is stored in the dielectric medium between the plates of the capacitor is given by U equals to 1 by 2 Q0 square upon C. Since there is no current in the circuit, the energy stored in the magnetic field of the inductor is 0. As the circuit is closed, the capacitor begins to discharge itself through the inductor, giving rise to a current in the circuit. As the current increases, it builds up magnetic field around the inductor. A part of the electrical energy of the capacitor gets stored in the inductor in the form of magnetic energy. And later instant, the capacitor gets fully discharged and the potential difference across the plates becomes 0. The current reaches its maximum value. The energy in the magnetic field is I 1 by 2 Li square. Thus, the entire electrostatic energy of the capacitor has been converted into magnetic field energy of the inductor. As per Lenz's law, after discharge of the capacitor is complete, the magnetic flux that is linked with the inductor decreases, inducing a current in the same direction as the earlier current. The current thus persists but with decreasing magnitude and charges the capacitor in the opposite direction. The magnitude energy of the inductor begins to change in the electrostatic energy of the capacitor. The process continues till the capacitor is fully charged with a polarity which is opposite to that of the initial state. The entire energy that is stored in the electric field of the capacitor begins to discharge again, sending current in the opposite direction. The energy is once again transferred to the magnetic field of the inductor. The process repeats itself in the opposite direction. The circuit eventually returns to the initial state. Thus, the energy of the system continuously surges back and forth between the electric field of the capacitor and the magnetic field of the inductor. This produces electrical oscillations of definite frequency. They are called LC oscillations. If there is no loss of energy, the amplitude of oscillation remains constant and the oscillations are undamped. Now we know that LC oscillations are damped. The reason for this is because every inductor has some resistance. This causes energy loss as heat. The amplitude of oscillation goes on decreasing and they finally die out. Even if the resistance was zero, the total energy of the system would not remain constant. It is radiated away in the form of electromagnetic waves. Now talking about series resonance circuit. Before that, we should know what is the natural frequency of oscillation of any system. Every system has a tendency to oscillate with a particular frequency. This frequency is known as the natural frequency of that system. Now, series in LCR resonance circuit. As we can see, a circuit in which inductance L, capacitance C, resistance R are connected in series, and the circuit admits maximum current corresponding to a given frequency of AC is called as a series resonance. The impedance of a LCR circuit is given by Z is equals to under root of R square plus omega into L minus 1 by omega C the whole square. At low frequencies, inductive reactance XL is equals to omega L is negligible, but capacitive reactance XC is equals to 1 upon omega C, which is very high. As we increase the applied frequency, XL increases whereas XC decreases. At some angular frequency, XL is equals to XC. We know that XL is equals to omega into L and XC is equals to 1 upon omega into C. Substituting it, we get omega square is equals to 1 upon LC or 2 pi f into R. The whole square is equals to 1 upon LC. 2 pi fr is equals to 1 upon under root of LC. F of r is equals to 1 upon 2 pi into under root of LC, where fr is called as your resonant frequency. This is the least value of Z. We get the impedance of LCR circuit is minimum. The circuit is said to be purely resistive current and the voltage are in phase and hence the current is maximum. This condition of LCR circuit is called as the resonant condition and the frequency is called as the resonance frequency. When talking about natural frequency of a LC circuit, which is also called as a resonance circuit, it oscillates with natural frequency and therefore the natural frequency of LC circuit is the resonant frequency. F equals to 1 upon 2 pi under root of L into C. At a particular resonance, XL is equals to XC. The total reactance is given by XL minus XC is equals to 0. Therefore, the reactance of LC circuit at natural frequency is 0. Now, talking about parallel resonance circuit. In parallel resonance circuit, in an AC circuit, there is a parallel combination of inductor and capacitor which is connected to a source of alternating EMF. The alternating EMF supplied by the source be E equals to E0 sine omega t. In case of an inductor, the current lags behind the applied EMF by a phase angle of pi by 2. Then the instantaneous current through L is given by IL equals to E0 upon XL into sine omega t minus pi by 2. Similarly, in a capacitor, as the current leads the EMF by a phase angle of pi by 2, we can write it as IC equals to E0 upon XC sin omega t plus pi by 2. Therefore, the total current I in the circuit at this instant is I equals to IC plus IL. Substituting the values of IC and IL in the above equation, we obtain I equals to E0 upon XL into sine omega t minus pi by 2 plus E0 upon XC into sine omega t plus pi by 2. According to the mathematical formulas, sine omega t minus pi by 2 is nothing but minus cos omega t, and sine omega t plus pi by 2 is nothing but cos omega t. Substituting it, we get E0 into 1 upon XC minus XL into cos omega t. I is equals to E0 omega c minus 1 upon omega L cos omega t. Therefore, when omega c minus 1 upon omega L is equals to 0, we say that I is minimum. Omega c is equals to 1 upon omega L. Taking omega on the same side, we get omega square equals to 1 upon LC. Removing the square, we obtain 1 upon under root of LC. Omega is nothing but 2 pi f. Obtaining the resonant frequency, we say Fr is equals to 1 upon 2 pi under root of LC. Talking about the characteristics of resonance in the series and in parallel. Resonance occurs when XL is equals to XC, whereas resonant frequency F of R is equals to 1 upon 2 pi under root LC. Here impedance is minimum and current is purely resistive. Here the current of different frequencies are sent through the parallel resonance circuit. It offers a very high impedance to the current of resonant frequency F of R and rejects it. However, it allows the current of the other frequencies to pass through it, hence it is called a circuit. Talking about the characteristics of resonance circuit, resonance occurs when XL equals to XC. Resonant frequency F of R is equals to 1 upon 2 pi under root LC. Impedance is minimum and purely resistive, whereas current has a maximum value. When a number of frequencies are fed to it, it accepts only one frequency F of R and rejects the other frequency. The current is maximum for this frequency, hence it is called as the acceptor circuit. For your knowledge and understanding, resonance occurs in a series LCR circuit when XL equals to XC or W equals to 1 upon under root of LC. For resonance to occur, the presence of both L and C elements is in the circuit is essential. Only then the voltages L and C will cancel each other and current amplitude will be E0 by R. That is, the total source voltage will appear across. So we cannot have resonance L, R and C, R circuit. Thank you.